The Souls-like genre is changing. What started as a narrow formula, punishing difficulty, methodical combat, cryptic storytelling, is now branching in different directions. Some games are pushing harder into refined, stylish action. Others are breaking free entirely, chasing story, emotion, and accessibility. The genre is splitting, and that's not just okay, that's exactly what it needs. Look at Lies of P, for example. It's a game that stays faithful to its Souls-like roots, stamina-based combat, tough bosses, deliberate pacing, but elevates the experience with more polish and responsiveness. It's faster, flashier, and more forgiving than classic Souls games, but it's still fundamentally about skill and timing. This is the action-forward path of the Souls-like, more adrenaline, more style, and more focus on the fight. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we're seeing games that feel Souls-like in tone and atmosphere, but diverge mechanically. And this is where it gets interesting. Expedition 33 isn't a Souls-like. It's a turn-based RPG, but it borrows the visual language and narrative density of Souls-likes. Its dreamlike environments, poetic storytelling, and cryptic world-building feel spiritually adjacent. It's not about reflexes or punishing systems. It's about immersion, emotion, and symbolism. In this sense, Clair Obscur reflects a broader Souls-like influence, even if it doesn't follow the rules. This matters because it shows that the genre isn't just influencing new games, it's influencing new directions. And while purists might say a Souls-like has to include parries and checkpoints and death loops, the truth is that the core ideas, atmosphere, mystery, thematic weight, are spreading well beyond that mold. Back to the mechanical side, games like Wolong Fallen Dynasty and Timezizia are refining the action-heavy model. These titles take Souls combat and crank it up. Faster movement, combo-driven systems, and streamlined design. These are Souls-likes for players who want the rush, the thrill, and the mastery, but not necessarily the hours of trial and error. They're more inviting without being easy. Think of them as the Devil May Cry cousins of the genre. At the same time, developers are building hybrid experiences. Remnant 2, for example, takes Souls-like elements and fuses them with third-person shooting and randomized levels. It's not Souls-like in the purest sense, but it keeps the soul. High stakes, tight mechanics, heavy lore. Blasphemous 2 brings in 2D platforming, fusing Metroidvania design with Souls-like challenge. These aren't clones, they're evolution. So what do all these different paths have in common? Why do we even call them Souls-like anymore? Because they share a philosophy, respect for the player, systems that reward patience and observation, and a world that doesn't spoon-feed its secrets. Whether you're slashing through Lies of P, shooting in Remnant 2, or platforming in Blasphemous, you're experiencing a genre that demands attention, effort, and investment. And the payoff isn't just you won, it's a feeling of earned understanding. And yet, the genre's most important evolution might be happening outside combat entirely. Developers are learning that challenge doesn't have to mean alienation. Souls-likes have long been criticized for being too obscure, too punishing. But now, we're seeing smarter onboarding, more flexible builds, and more narrative hooks. Games are realizing that mystery doesn't mean silence, and that emotion doesn't weaken the experience. If anything, it deepens it. That's where the idea of games like Clair Obscur becomes valuable, not because it's a Souls-like, but because it shows how much the genre has influenced tone, art direction, and world design across all of modern gaming. The Souls DNA is in everything now. The lonely feeling of walking through a dead city, the fragments of lore tucked into flavor text, the trust that players will figure it out. That ethos has spread far beyond its original home. Even From Software isn't standing still. With Elden Ring, they cracked their own formula wide open. It was still unmistakably a Souls game, but it offered choice, freedom, accessibility. You didn't have to beat your head against a boss for 10 hours. You could leave, explore, grow stronger, come back. That design shift was massive. It welcomed new players without compromising the core, and it gave permission to other studios. Yes, you can break the mold. So what does the future look like? It looks split, And that's a good thing. On one side, you'll have the combat-first evolution, fast, precise, demanding. Games that want you to sharpen your reflexes and live for the boss fight. On the other, you'll have emotionally driven experiences, games that take Souls-like themes, grief, loss, transformation, and explore them through new mechanics and new genres. Some games will blur the line, some will fail, but the important thing is they're trying. And with every new experiment, the genre grows stronger. This is what healthy evolution looks like, not stagnation, not imitation, but experimentation, risk, and diversity. When genres split, they grow. When they narrow, they die. So maybe the question isn't, what is a Souls-like anymore? Maybe it's, what can it become? And if we keep embracing that question, this genre will keep surprising us. For years to come,